Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the explosive developments unfolding in Port Charles from October 13th to 31st, 2025. As the leaves turn in this fictional coastal town, tensions are simmering higher than ever, with secrets unraveling and alliances shifting in ways that will leave fans breathless. Over the next 3 weeks, the drama intensifies across multiple storylines, blending family betrayals, romantic entanglements, and shadowy investigations that promise to reshape the landscape of relationships and power dynamics. Let's dive deep into the chaos, starting with one of the most heartfelt yet complicated unions in town. Curtis Ashford's bold move to pause his divorce proceedings with Portia Robinson takes center stage in the early episodes, showcasing the raw vulnerability beneath his confident exterior. In a tense preview from Monday's installment, Curtis pulls Portia aside during a quiet moment at the hospital, his voice laced with a mix of hope and hesitation as he proposes they hit the brakes on finalizing their split. This suggestion hits Portia like a tidal wave, especially since she's already confided in her close friend Elizabeth Liz Baldwin about the potential pregnancy that's complicating everything. Portia, ever the cautious physician, has been grappling with the uncertainty of the baby's father. Could it be Curtis? Or has her brief reconnection with someone from her past thrown a wrench into their future? Adding layers to this emotional turmoil, Curtis's plea might not just stem from lingering love, but from his growing suspicions about an ongoing probe that could ensnare them both. Imagine the internal conflict Portia faces, torn between protecting her professional reputation and shielding her heart from further pain. This pause in proceedings could buy them time to navigate the paternity mystery, but it risks reigniting old flames or exposing hidden resentments that have festered since their separation. As Curtis presses for reconciliation, Portia's silence speaks volumes, hinting at storms ahead that could either mend their fractured bond or shatter it irreparably. Shifting gears to the rising panic gripping Trina Robinson, her world tilts on its axis as she contemplates the safety of her loved ones amid a web of escalating threats. Trina's freak-out moment erupts in a heated conversation with her confidant, where her wide-eyed fear reveals a daughter desperate to shield her parents from unseen dangers lurking in Port Charles's underbelly. What if Portia and Curtis become the next victims in a string of mysterious incidents plaguing the community? This paranoia propels Trina into action, teaming up with the enigmatic Kai Taylor to don the hats of amateur sleuths, poring over clues in dimly lit corners of the city. Kai, with his sharp instincts honed from years navigating tricky social circles, urges Trina to channel her artistic eye into decoding subtle hints like a misplaced note or an overheard whisper that others might overlook. Yet, their detective duo must tread lightly. One wrong move could spotlight them as suspects, drawing the ire of those pulling strings from the shadows. Picture Trina sketching out timelines on napkins at Kelly's diner, her hands trembling as she connects dots to potential culprits, while Kai cross-references alibis with a tech-savvy gadget he's jury-rigged. This partnership not only tests their budding chemistry, but forces Trina to confront her own vulnerabilities, transforming her from a wide-eyed student into a fierce guardian. As they unearth fragments of truth, the duo's investigation could inadvertently spark a chain reaction, pulling in allies and enemies alike and heightening the stakes for everyone involved. Sonny Corinthos, the undisputed kingpin of Port Charles's underworld, enters hypervigilant mode as familial secrets threaten to erupt like a powder keg. In a riveting confrontation set against the backdrop of his fortified penthouse, Sonny corners his son Michael, his piercing gaze demanding answers to the whispers of disloyalty circling their empire. Michael's face, a mask of internal strife, suggests he's on the verge of a full confession, spilling details about clandestine dealings that could fracture their father-son bond forever. Sonny's instincts, sharpened by decades of mob warfare, pick up on Michael's evasions, leading to a verbal showdown where old wounds from past betrayals resurface. This interrogation isn't just paternal concern. It's a strategic play to safeguard his operations from internal sabotage. Fans might speculate if Michael's hidden agenda involves protecting a loved one or pursuing his own path to legitimacy. But Sonny's unyielding pressure could force a reckoning that alters the Corinthos family hierarchy. Envision the scene, dim lights casting long shadows as Sonny paces, his gravelly voice echoing accusations, while Michael weighs the cost of truth against the peril of silence. This high-stakes exchange sets the tone for Sonny's arc, where trust becomes the ultimate currency in a town rife with deception. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves faces a brutal reckoning when her fabricated alibi for Willow Tate crumbles under scrutiny, exposing cracks in her carefully constructed facade. Anna Devane, the no-nonsense commissioner with an unerring eye for lies, presents irrefutable security footage that places Nina far from Willow during the chaotic shooting of Drew Kane, shattering the story Nina spun to deflect suspicion. This confrontation unfolds in a sterile police interrogation room, where Nina's poised demeanor cracks, revealing flickers of desperation as she scrambles for excuses. The fallout ripples outward. Willow, already burdened by her health battles and family ties, feels the sting of betrayal, questioning the depth of Nina's loyalty. Delving deeper, this alibi implosion might tie into larger conspiracies involving corporate espionage at Crimson Magazine, where Nina's editorial decisions have long invited envy and sabotage. As Anna presses for motives, Nina's mind races through alibis and accomplices, potentially dragging unwilling parties into the fray. This pivotal moment humanizes Nina, showcasing her evolution from vengeful outsider to a woman fighting to preserve her place in Willow's life, even as the evidence mounts against her. In the realm of dreams and desires, Rick Lansing finds himself haunted by visions of Elizabeth Baldwin, blurring the lines between fantasy and reality in his quest for redemption. These nocturnal encounters paint Rick as a man tormented by what-ifs, replaying tender moments with Liz that never fully materialized amid their turbulent history. Waking in a sweat, Rick ponders reaching out, but his lawyerly caution holds him back, fearing rejection in a town that remembers his past indiscretions. This subplot adds psychological depth, exploring how unrequited longing fuels Rick's drive to atone through pro bono cases that echo his compassionate spirit at the hospital. Perhaps these dreams foreshadow a real-world collision where Rick aids Liz in a medical malpractice suit, reigniting sparks long thought extinguished. Ava Jerome and Christina Corinthos Davis, two women forged in the fires of Corinthos family drama, embark on a tentative journey to rewrite their narratives, leaving behind the toxicity that defined their paths. Ava, shedding her manipulative shell, proposes a fresh start over coffee at the Metro Court, where Christina's fiery optimism inspires a pact of mutual support. This turning of the page could involve collaborative ventures, like Ava mentoring Christina in art therapy sessions that heal emotional scars from their shared losses. Yet, shadows linger. Ava's doubts about Sonny's influence test their resolve, while Christina's impulsive nature risks derailing their progress. Their evolving friendship highlights themes of forgiveness, offering a counterpoint to the show's darker intrigue. Jen Sidwell's relentless power plays dominate boardrooms and backrooms as he flexes his influence with ruthless precision to consolidate control over key assets in Port Charles. In a series of cutthroat meetings, Sidwell bulldozes opposition, deploying charm laced with threats to sway undecided players. This arc examines the cost of ambition, alliances fray as Sidwell's tactics alienate even his closest advisors, potentially inviting backlash from unlikely quarters like the Quartermain dynasty. Inventing a new twist, Sidwell uncovers a vulnerability in his empire-forgotten heirloom that holds leverage over his rivals, forcing him to balance aggression with cunning diplomacy. Tracy Quartermain, the matriarch with an unquenchable thirst for leverage, consults a high-powered attorney to unearth scandals on the impeccably pristine Veronica Ronnie Bard. Despite exhaustive searches yielding slim pickings, Tracy's tenacity shines as she deploys private investigators to probe Ronnie's past. From her early career in journalism to hidden philanthropic ties, this vendetta stems from a recent business clash where Ronnie's ethics clashed with Tracy's pragmatism, now escalating into a battle of wits. Tracy's determination could unearth a fabricated credential or a suppressed family secret, reshaping ELQ's power structure and affirming her status as the ultimate schemer. Cody Bell stumbles upon a jaw-dropping revelation that could upend the stables at the Quartermain estate, blending his rodeo roots with the town's elite intrigue. While tending to a prized horse, Cody discovers a concealed compartment revealing documents tied to a long-buried feud, prompting him to weigh loyalty against truth. This find intertwines with broader mysteries, perhaps linking to Mac Scorpio's investigations and forcing Cody to ally with Sasha Gilmore for deeper insights. Molly Lansing Davis seeks solace in Dan DeFalcone's steady presence, unburdening her soul about the pressures of her legal career and personal doubts during a late-night walk along the docks. Dana's empathetic ear provides rare clarity, strengthening their bond as Molly navigates ethical dilemmas in a high-profile case. This confessional moment foreshadows Molly's growth, potentially drawing her into Dana's orbit amid rising police scrutiny. Dante himself faces intense grilling from Nathan West, whose probing questions about a recent bust unearthed discrepancies in Dana's reports, testing his integrity under the spotlight of internal affairs. Nathan, driven by a code of unyielding justice, senses deeper involvement in a corruption ring, pushing Dana to defend his actions while concealing protective motives. This interrogation arc delves into themes of duty versus family, with Dana's responses hinting at sacrifices made in the shadows. Giovanni Gio Palmieri forges an unexpected alliance with a reclusive artist in town, bridging his musical talents with visual creativity to compose a symphony inspired by Port Charles lore. This connection blossoms during a chance encounter at the gallery, where shared stories of loss ignite collaborative sparks, potentially leading to a charity event that unites divided factions. Felicia Scorpio shares intimate fears with Liz Baldwin over herbal tea at the nurse's station, confiding about strains in her marriage to Mac amid his relentless pursuits. Liz's nurturing advice helps Felicia reclaim her adventurous spirit, weaving in flashbacks to their shared adventures that underscore enduring friendship. Charlotte Casadini receives a chilling admonition from an anonymous source, warning of perils tied to her Casadini heritage during a solitary moment at the manor. This vague threat stirs Charlotte's resolve to break free from legacy's chains, consulting Valentine for guidance while plotting her independence. Finally, Carly Spencer launches a meticulous probe into Jack Brennan's background, her journalistic instincts overriding budding trust as she sifts through records in her Metro Court office. Doubts creep in after spotting inconsistencies in his tales, perhaps a fabricated identity or ties to international dealings, prompting Carly to enlist Spinelli's hacking prowess. This digging could expose Brennan as a ally or adversary, complicating Carly's navigation of post-divorce life and her protective instincts toward those she holds dear. Next, we will learn about the electrifying yet complicated reunion of Jason Morgan and Britt Westburn, a storyline that's captivating fans with its layers of mystery and unresolved passion. For countless devoted viewers of ABC's General Hospital, the whirlwind romance between Jason Morgan and Britt Westburn stands out as one of those rare, perfectly executed narratives that capture the essence of daytime drama at its finest. What made their bond so compelling was the high-stakes backdrop of evasion and peril, where two guarded individuals found solace in unexpected moments of intimacy amid chaos. Picture this: Jason, the stoic enforcer always one step ahead of danger, crossing paths with Britt, the sharp-witted doctor harboring her own shadows, leading to a connection forged in secrecy and survival. Their story didn't just spark, it ignited like a fuse in a storm, drawing audiences into every tense glance and whispered confession. Yet, just as their flame seemed destined to burn brighter, fate intervened with brutal twists, leaving fans yearning for what could have been a deeper exploration of their chemistry. Their initial spark erupted during a harrowing escape sequence that epitomized General Hospital's signature blend of action and emotion. Jason, ever the protector, swooped in to shield Britt from the ruthless thugs dispatched by the notorious Cyrus Renault, pulling her into a world of shadows and narrow escapes that tested their limits. As they fled across borders, dodging ambushes in dimly lit safe houses and forging ahead through rain-slicked backroads, their conversations turned from survival tactics to personal revelations. Building a foundation of trust amid the adrenaline, Britt, typically aloof and professionally detached, began to lower her defenses, sharing fragments of her turbulent past with Faison and the emotional scars it left behind, while Jason offered rare glimpses into his unwavering loyalty to Sonny Corinthos. This phase of their relationship wasn't without friction, clashes over risk-taking, and Britt's occasional sarcasm added sparks, but it was these raw exchanges that transformed fleeting attraction into something profoundly real, hinting at a partnership that could withstand Port Charles' endless turmoil. The true deepening of their affection unfolded in the isolated serenity of a remote Canadian lighthouse, a hideout that became their private sanctuary away from the mob's reach and prying eyes. Here, under the relentless crash of waves and the glow of a solitary lantern, Britt opened up about her most guarded secret, the positive Huntington's disease marker that loomed over her future like an inescapable shadow. Jason, no stranger to life's cruel unpredictability from his own brushes with mortality, responded not with pity, but with quiet solidarity, vowing to stand by her through whatever storms lay ahead, a promise that resonated deeply in a show rife with betrayals. They spent days exploring the rugged coastline, cooking simple meals from scavenged supplies, and even sharing light-hearted moments like stargazing sessions where Britt taught Jason constellations tied to her Scandinavian roots, weaving in cultural nuances that enriched their bond. This interlude wasn't merely romantic filler. It served as a pivotal character study, illustrating how vulnerability could bridge Jason's emotional walls and Britt's cynicism, setting the stage for a love that felt authentic and earned. Tragically, external forces shattered their budding paradise, pulling them back into the vortex of Port Charles' intricate web of allegiances and conflicts. Jason's unyielding devotion to his family and the Corinthos empire forced him to prioritize duty over desire, culminating in a heartbreaking decision to release Britt so he could enter a strategic union with Carly Spencer. This marriage, born out of necessity following Sonny's presumed demise in a bridge collapse, was designed as a power play to stabilize the organization amid rising threats from rivals like Vincent Novel and the ever-lurking Jerome family remnants. Carly, stepping into Sonny's shoes with fierce determination, needed Jason's muscle to assert dominance, and their vows were exchanged in a rushed ceremony at the Metro Court, shadowed by unspoken tensions and the ghosts of past affections. For Britt, watching from afar via encrypted messages, the news stung like a betrayal, amplifying her fears of abandonment rooted in her complicated lineage. She retreated into her medical career at GH, channeling pain into professional ambition while secretly monitoring Jason's safety through hacker contacts. The brevity of Jason and Carly's arrangement ended abruptly by Sonny's miraculous survival and return left scars, underscoring how mob life devours personal happiness, a theme General Hospital has masterfully revisited across decades. Compounding the heartbreak, Jason's world imploded in a catastrophic tunnel explosion orchestrated by a shadowy syndicate seeking revenge against the five families, burying him under tons of rubble and debris in a scene that left viewers gasping. Presumed lost forever, his absence rippled through Port Charles, with Sam McCall grappling with renewed grief and Spinelli delving into conspiracy theories about government cover-ups. Britt, already reeling from their separation, threw herself into high-risk cases at the hospital, her Huntington's diagnosis fueling a desperate quest for experimental treatments abroad. Then came her own brush with oblivion. In a pulse-bounding confrontation, she battled the elusive serial killer known as the Hook on the waterfront docks, using her scalpel skills and quick thinking to protect Jocelyn Jacks from a lethal strike. Believed poisoned by the assailant's toxin, Britt collapsed into the icy waters, her body vanishing into the night, a twist that echoed classic soap resurrections while amplifying the tragedy of what Jason and she might have built. In a narrative stroke of genius, General Hospital revived Jason through a clandestine Black Ops recovery, revealing he had survived the collapse thanks to experimental tech from a former WSB ally. Emerging with fragmented memories, but his core instincts intact, his return to Port Charles was fraught with suspicion, as old enemies like Peter August's lingering influences questioned his loyalties, forcing him to navigate alliances anew. Meanwhile, whispers of Brit's survival reached him via tip from an anonymous source tied to the Casadini network, igniting a solo mission that took him across continents. Tracking leads from encrypted drives and shady informants, Jason infiltrated the opulent, yet sinister Five Poppies resort in Croatia, a sprawling complex masking underground labs funded by international syndicates. There, he discovered Brit not as a victim, but as a key operative in bio-research, her medical expertise coerced into developing serums that blurred the line between healing and weaponry. Confronting her in a tense standoff amid luxurious villas and hidden bunkers, Jason convinced her to flee with him. But the extraction was anything but smooth, dodging guards and deciphering lab codes. They barely escaped via chartered boat under stormy skies. Upon their return to the familiar yet hostile terrain of Port Charles, the reunion unfolded not as a triumphant embrace, but as a cautious dance laced with unspoken doubts. The Brit Jason rescued carried the weight of her ordeals like an invisible armor. Her once playful wit had sharpened into icy detachment, and her eyes held secrets that made her pull away during intimate moments at the Quartermain estate. Jason, sensing the shift, persisted with subtle gestures, leaving her favorite herbal teas or sharing quiet walks along the harbor, reminding her of the lighthouse days when words weren't always necessary. Yet, her evasiveness hinted at deeper entanglements from the Five Poppies lab, where she had been manipulated by an enigmatic figure known only as the Architect, a rogue scientist blending Helena Casadin's ruthlessness with cutting-edge genetics. This shadowy puppet master had exploited Brit's skills for projects involving memory alteration serums, possibly linked to Jason's own resurrection anomalies, creating a web of ethical dilemmas that forced her to question her return. Adding layers of intrigue, rumors swirled of Nathan West's improbable revival through cryogenic tech, positioning him as a wild card who could either bridge or fracture Jason and Brit's fragile trust. As their story progresses, complications mount from multiple fronts, turning what could have been a straightforward second chance into a labyrinth of intrigue and emotional hurdles. Professor Dalton, a disgraced academic with ties to the WSB's darker experiments, emerges as a potential antagonist, his vendetta against Jason stemming from a botched op that cost him his career. Now targeting Brit as leverage, Jerry Jacks, ever the opportunistic mercenary, lurks in the periphery, his connections to the resort's funding suggesting he pulled strings during Brit's captivity. Perhaps planning trackers or forging alliances with the Hooks network, Jason's lingering baggage reintegrating with his sons Danny and Jake, mending fences with an evolving Sonny further strains his focus, while Brit grapples with Huntington's progression, experimenting with black market inhibitors that risk her stability. Speculation among fans points to explosive confrontations at upcoming galas or medical crises that could force truths into the open, blending romance with high-octane suspense. This reunion defies fairy tale tropes, portraying to survivors orbiting their shared history, where every step forward risks unraveling hidden threats. Ultimately, the simmering tension between Jason and Brit promises a narrative payoff that's as rewarding as it is unpredictable, embodying General Hospital's knack for slow-burn sagas that honor character growth over rush resolutions. Their attraction endures beneath the surface, fueled by memories of stolen moments and unspoken promises, suggesting that with time, they might reclaim what tragedy stole. As Port Charles braces for revelations involving resurrections, vendettas, and medical miracles, one thing remains clear. Jason and Brit's chapter is far from closed, offering fans a tantalizing blend of heart and hazard that could redefine their legacies. Stay tuned for more twists in this captivating arc.